Story 1. The Voices in the Woods. It happened at the end of 2018. I had decided to go camping alone for a weekend in a forest in northern Oregon, an isolated, silent place, almost forgotten on the map. It was the kind of silence that hurts your ears. The first day went smoothly. I set up my tent near a stream, built a small campfire, and watched the sky turn completely black, the stars seeming to float between the branches. But that night, the silence started to feel wrong. Around 2 in the morning, I woke up to a strange sound. It sounded like the wind moving through the leaves, but there was something off, a rhythm, almost like words. At first I thought I was imagining things until I realized the whispers were saying my name. Evan, Evan. Soft, distant, coming from all directions. My whole body froze. No one knew where I was camping. I grabbed my flashlight and stood still, listening. The whispers stopped. But then came the footsteps, slow, circling the tent, crushing the dry leaves. Suddenly, something touched the fabric of the tent. The canvas dipped slightly, as if someone were running their hand slowly along the outside. The air grew thick. I could barely breathe. Then came the most disturbing sound of all, a low, muffled laugh, as if it were just inches from my ear on the other side of the tent wall. I stayed completely still until sunrise. When the first light finally appeared, I unzipped the tent and stepped out shaking. The ground around the tent was covered in footprints, barefoot, small, dozens of them, circling the campsite, going back and forth between the trees. I followed one set for a few feet until it vanished right beside a huge tree. There, carved into the bark, were the words, "We can still hear you." I ran back, threw my things into the car, and drove away without looking back. But sometimes, when the wind blows at night, I still hear my name being whispered. Story 2. The Cabin Among the Pines. It happened 2 years ago. My friends and I, 4 of us, decided to rent a cabin deep in the woods for the weekend. We wanted to escape the noise of the city and maybe, unconsciously, test how much silence we could handle before going insane. The place was simple: old wood, a fireplace, the smell of mold, and no cell signal. The road ended miles before the cabin. From there on, it was just trees and the unsettling feeling that something was watching you from between them. The first night was fine, but near midnight, Dylan, the jokester of the group, looked out the window and said, "Do you guys see that?" Between the pines, there was a faint light swaying. It looked like a lantern, moving slowly, as if someone were walking with it. Curiosity won over common sense. We grabbed our flashlights and went to check. With each step, the sounds of the forest faded. No crickets, no wind, nothing. Just our breathing and the crunch of leaves underfoot. The light led us to an old cabin, covered in moss, nearly swallowed by the forest. But the light wasn't a lantern. It was a candle, burning alone on the windowsill. When we got closer, the door, completely rotted, moved by itself, creaking open. The smell of damp earth and rust filled the air. Inside, There were bones hanging from strings, some marked with symbols drawn in what looked like dried blood. And on the back wall, written in jagged letters, were the words, "We are not alone." Dylan tried to laugh, but the sound died in his throat. Then the candle went out. No wind, no noise, nothing. Everything went black. What we heard next was a single step. Then another and another, coming from the back of the cabin. We ran, without looking back, without thinking. Our flashlights shook in our hands as we tried to find the path again. Those were the worst 10 minutes of my life. When we finally saw the light of our cabin, I felt a wave of relief for a second, until I realized the door was wide open, and inside, on the table, was a single candle burning. The same candle from the other cabin. Story 3. The Thing in the Forest. This story isn't mine. It was told to me by a former forest ranger named Thomas, a calm, experienced man, the kind who doesn't scare easily. But when he told me this, I swear, his eyes looked like those of someone who never slept the same again. Thomas worked at a nature reserve in rural Montana. For weeks, there had been reports of hikers disappearing along a trail that had been closed to the public. Experienced people with gear, compasses, GPS, simply vanishing. One cloudy afternoon, he was ordered to do a search. He went alone, carrying a radio, flashlight, and rifle. Right from the start, something felt wrong. No sound, no birds, no wind, nothing. After an hour of walking, he saw something ahead. A figure, maybe an animal, moving between the trees. It crawled on all fours, fast, but with unnatural movements. He pointed his flashlight at it. The thing stopped and stared in his direction. Thomas said that in that instant, the air grew heavy, as if time itself had stopped. Then the creature stood up. It had the body of a man, thin, pale, but the face was impossible to describe. The features seemed blurred, shifting, constantly changing. The worst part was the smile. Wide, tense, far too large for a human face. It took a step forward, then another, and then it began mimicking a woman's voice, crying, saying, "Please, help me." Thomas backed away, trembling, but the voice continued, now whispering his name. Thomas. Thomas. He raised the flashlight and saw the eyes. Two glowing points in the dark, fixed on him. The creature lunged forward, and he fired. The sound echoed through the trees, and whatever it was, vanished. When the other rangers arrived, they found claw marks on the ground and a single tree scratched with something carved into the bark. Do not look again. Thomas quit the next day, and when someone asks what he saw that night, he always gives the same answer. If you ever hear someone calling your name in the forest, don't answer.